Welcome to the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, where it is never too early for fantasy football. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Alex.
As always, thank you for downloading, listening, liking, and commenting on our podcast videos. Please join our community by subscribing to us on the socials. Our handle on all platforms is at N2E Fantasy. We're also available on all major podcasting apps by searching N2 Fantasy. Alex, what do we have on today's show?
On this episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, we are revealing our 2026 Fantasy Football Sleepers. So we will do 7 sleepers, might even add a couple extra, just as honorable mentions. But first, Jeff, what's going on around the league?
Man, nothing good happens this time of year. And it's either injuries or arrest. And in the case of last week of Rashee Rice, it was both. It was a surgery and a failed drug test. And in this case, it is the Packers' star running back, Josh Jacobs. He was arrested with 5 charges. Most serious was a felony, I think, strangulation charge. And we need to wait and see how this plays out. But Alex, if Josh Jacobs misses time, is there a Packers running back that you're interested in right now? Or do you think that they would go out into the trade market and try to find something else?
I think, I love Marshawn Lloyd, but he's a deep stash if Jacobs is out. Can't even count on him to actually contribute for sure. But the NFL team, the Packers, should absolutely look for other options. And I don't think there's a good free agent option. So, like you said, they'd have to try to trade. And the Arizona Cardinals have a lockjam at running back. So could they trade Connor? Could they trade Benson? Is Algier upset about the drafting of Jeremiah Love? Could they trade Algier? That would be interesting. And I think any of those guys would potentially work with the Packers. And it would be a LaFleur to LaFleur connection.
That is true. That is true. And I was also thinking of teams that weren't going to compete, and obviously we don't think that the Cardinals are going to compete because of our standing episode last week. We both had them as the number 1 overall pick. But what about the Miami Dolphins? They kind of have Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon, and they just extended their star running back, Achane. So that's another possibility as well. And the Packers lost their coach to Miami for their head coaching opening this year, and they also lost an executive for the GM spot. So another connection right there.
I would say the GM is more important in this trade scenario than the coach.
Absolutely. So what about Jalen Wright? Like getting a shot to...
Maybe. But I think that they would want to go for a veteran, like a solid vet.
Absolutely. I mean, they have Cam Akers on the waiver wire still.
Let him go. Go, Jeff.
Let him go. I feel like that with Marshawn Lloyd right now. Like, can he borrow one of Jacob's hamstrings if he's... Does that work like that? Like, can he borrow a hamstring from an arrested colleague?
This is absolutely, if he doesn't show up this year, if he doesn't get healthy this year, he's out of the league. I mean, I can't imagine him staying in the league again.
Man, if I'm the Packers, I'm worried. Like, is he going to hurt a hamstring and be on my IR again all year and I have to pay him, or do I just cut him right now?
They should learn from the Seahawks and give him really, really tight shoes.
We'll see. We will see. All right.
There is another bit of news. The Texans gave extra money to Nico Collins. I don't know if he was even going to hold out, but they gave him an extra $17 million over the next 2 years, which is still the final 2 years of his contract. No extension. Don't know what the rest of the money is, or if they added void years or anything like that. But just out of the blue, just paying their guys. I don't know if it helps the team. It doesn't make them better.
Is this like an Oprah situation? Like, and you get extra money, and you get extra money, because it feels like they've paid a lot of guys this offseason.
Yep. But the plus side is everyone is in a small window, so it's not long-term commitments. And they can do this because they don't plan on paying Stroud unless he blows up this year.
Right. Well, we will see, and I think that there is a NCAA quarterback that could be in the supplemental draft as well. So could teams like Carolina and the Texans have quarterbacks entering the 5th-year option next year? Look at him. His name kind of escapes my brain right now, but
Starts with an S. He's out of Texas Tech. He got in trouble for gambling on games. He is permanently barred from the NCAA from further eligibility. I can't imagine in this day and age where the league is upset by players gambling on games that anyone would want to touch this quarterback in the supplemental draft. Like literally, he's radioactive, I would imagine. And
maybe.
I'm not sure he is that good to even have been drafted high on a normal year.
All right, and it's Brendan Sorsby, and we'll have to see here what happens. But we all know quarterbacks that one position that everyone desperately tries to find a quarterback, and you just keep taking stabs until you actually get it.
I mean, I can see a team like Arizona putting the mid-round pick on him.
Absolutely, especially if Jacoby Brissett continues to hold out, which is a interesting tactic by the veteran quarterback that is projected to start the year.
Or maybe even a team like Tampa Bay.
Could be. Could be. But I think someone will throw a supplemental pick on him. I think multiple teams will throw a later round pick on him. So could turn out to be a genius move, and could turn out to just be a nothing burger. But late round picks can do that anyways. So might as well throw it out there. But
All right.
Alex,
Are you ready for our top 7 sleepers, Jeff?
absolutely. Absolutely. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first here?
I don't care.
You don't care, so I care, so I'm gonna go first. My number 7 sleeper is one of my boring sleepers, and that is Devontae Adams, who is going 52 in ranks, and I have him at 24 right now, so in the ranking, so about 2 to 3 full rounds earlier.
You love Devonta. You Devonta.
Yep.
Is wide receiver 26 right now, and where do you have him on your ranks?
Pretty sure he is wide receiver 12 for me right now. So he's very close to a wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2. So
He almost could have been your number 1 sleeper then, because that's a big jump.
it is a big jump. I have players with bigger jumps though. And I felt like between him and Mike Evans here, I felt like both of them were boring because they're aging out of the league, and it's really hard to put a aging sleeper on there. But I think fantasy wise, we have some ageism when it comes to drafting our fantasy players. So,
All right. He is not on my list. He did really well last year with, I think it was 18 touchdowns in the red zone, pretty much.
they're going to need him.
Every year, I think it's the last year that he starts to decline. And last year, he wasn't, in my opinion, great, but Stafford force-fed him, even in situations where they should have ran the ball with the running backs that they have. I don't know if it continues, but if it does, you're definitely going to be right in that scenario, and you're going to look smart.
Yeah, who do they have other than Puka and Adams? Like,
It's almost like they could have drafted a wide receiver or a top of the line tight end at 13 instead of taking a quarterback that's not going to play for 3 years, and
dude,
probably if he does play, is not going to be very good. So
they don't need to take more tight ends. They took Max Clare in this draft. They took one last year, one the year before. They signed
they have
Colby
5
Parkinson.
tight ends. Yeah, they have 5 tight ends right now.
Yeah. Don't wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
All right. Well, my number 7 is a quarterback, and that is a quarterback that has a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, a brand new number 1 weapon, and a brand new running back to play with, and that is Cam Ward. with Tennessee. I think he's currently the quarterback 22. I think he's a borderline QB1 if things go well for them this season.
All right. I like the boldness, and I have him in a dynasty league that I was considering shipping him off, and now you have convinced me to think about keeping him. And he does have a lot of weapons to spread around to this year, so it'll be interesting to see how the receiving core shakes out.
I mean, think about what Dable has done for Jackson
Joshy?
Dart, for Daniel Jones. I mean, he got Daniel Jones paid pretty much, and then he got Josh Allen kickstarted. So what he likes Cam Ward. That's one of the reasons why he went there. They got him Carnell Tate, and they already have a couple weapons there. He also brought in Wandale Robinson, who did not make my list, but I've seen other people have Wandale out there too. I think there are going to be a lot of passing situations. Cam Ward, although I've said in his prospect profile when we did that last year, wasn't a college runner, but he's fully capable of running and getting some rushing stats. So I think he'll be someone to keep an eye on in 2 quarterback leagues. I'm definitely trying to grab him.
All right. Love that. All right. Let
All
me
right.
hop. Go ahead.
Do you want to zigzag or you want to
We
start
can
again?
we can zigzag. Go ahead.
All right, my number 6 is a tight end with Dable's former team, now a Harbaugh team, and that is Isaiah Likely moving from the Baltimore Ravens to the New York Giants to likely take over as the tight end 1 over Theo Johnson there. I think he's potentially poised for a breakout here. He's going as the tight end 14, round pick 133. And I think he could outperform that spot, be maybe a top 8, top 9 tight end this year.
All right. I don't hate it at all. My only concern there is the amount of weapons that they have with Neighbors and Fields, and they brought in Mooney and Austin, and Theo Johnson's still there, and Scattaboo. Like, I'm not sure Dart is this passer that can do 4,000 yards, so I'm not
I'm
sure
not
that's where
sure
he's proficient.
Mooney and Austin are going to factor in that much.
And Slayton, and it's just there's a lot there.
Slayton is terrible. Slayton shouldn't be a starter on any team.
They could cut him, but they haven't yet.
They paid him too much. The GM that just got an extension is on the hook for paying him way too much money.
Yep.
The Giants are a weird organization, but
Yep.
Likely is the Harbaugh guy, and Likely is the best tight end right now on the roster, and he's going to be heavily involved.
Absolutely. The only thing I'll say is Harbaugh is not an offensive coach, so it'll be interesting to see what Nagy and Dart do.
Well, Matt Nagy spent some time the last couple of years with Kansas City, and they're one of the teams that utilizes the tight end the most. So
Travis Kelsey's do not grow on trees, sir. They do not grow on trees. All
just
right.
saying.
All right, let's hop over here to a wide receiver on my board here at number 6. I have Trey Tucker. He is going 182 at ADP right now, and I have him at 112, a 9th rounder. So that's full 6 rounds ahead. And I think he'll be their wide receiver 1 this year. So I don't know why he's not getting any love when it comes to this, but give me some Trey Tucker this year again.
I don't dislike Trey Tucker, but I think at this point he's mostly a vertical wide receiver, and that's not really Kirk Cousins or Mendoza's bag. So I'm not sure what wide receiver on the roster is going to break out because they still have Betch. They have Thornton. Maybe one of those guys develops, but I think everything's going to go through their run game and Brock Bowers. I'm not saying Tucker can't. He wasn't on my radar, but I mean, he is someone to keep an eye on.
Absolutely, and I think Thornton's a burner as well. So they have mismatch receivers too. Did they were the team that signed Naylor, right?
Yes, they're also the team that signed Naylor.
So
So maybe Naylor could be the number 1. The same reason that you like Tucker.
could be. Tucker's only 25 years old still, so I mean he's someone that's taken step after step, year after year. Last year he was kind of thrust into a spot that he probably wasn't ready for. So hopefully he can take that next step forward. But 25 is pretty young for I think a year 3 or year 4 guy.
They should have someone
Year
on a team
4.
named Hammer so they can have Hammer and Naylor.
Yep, absolutely. That would be hysterical. But he's a 2023 draft pick, so this is his 4th year, and he's 25. So he's a guy that'll be a free agent after this year. Could you imagine him on a team like the Bills, being the deep guy for Josh Allen?
Not everyone will just immediately blow up on the Bills.
Okay. You used to do this with the Chiefs, so we're pretty
I
even.
know.
Then put him with Mahomes.
I learned my lesson.
Put him with Mahomes then. He could be a Tyreek Light, I would assume. So
We'll see.
get him to wherever Mike McDaniel is next year. All right. Who is your actually no, we'll do my number 5 here, and that is ready for this? It's a guy that you just cut in Dynasty. It's Isaiah Pacheco. Gibbs is not going to take all of this load that was Montgomery's and his, so he's going to have to share it. And his sharing mate is Isaiah Pacheco right now. And I believe in a different system with different weapons, Pacheco is going to thrive. And he seems like a younger version of David Montgomery, so hopefully he can take right off. But I do believe in his talent this year, and I also agree with you cutting him at his salary. So don't get me wrong there, but I do think he's worth a few bucks this year in dynasty drafts and even in regular redraft leagues where he's going in the 12th round, and I got him as a 7th round pick right now. So that's about where
I
David
I
Montgomery was.
I think he's purely a handcuff at this point, and I think even short yardage and goal line it will still heavily feature Gibbs. It's a different offense, but it's going to be vertical passing attack. I almost put Jameson Williams on my sleepers, the sleeper list this year. I didn't, but he should have been an honorable mention. I have 3 honorable mentions then if I want to include Jameson Williams. I like Gibbs a lot, and Pacheco, former 7th round pick, kind of burned out with the Chiefs. I still think an old David Montgomery is still better than Pacheco overall.
Wow.
So I don't really want Pacheco.
Okay. That is good to know. But also, they still have Jared Goff, who is not the strongest arm thrower. So
He is the strongest of the strongest arm throwers. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a bad thrower, especially in his dome matchups.
great. Who do you got at 5?
I have, maybe this will make you happy. I have Jonathan Brooks, the running back with the Carolina Panthers. I think he's currently going as the RB40 right now, coming off back-to-back injury-plagued years. This might be the year he breaks into the committee and might eventually win out the starting role. So I have him going from basically RB4 to high-end RB3 kind of flex with the RB2 upside.
I don't hate it.
I didn't want to put him too high on my list because he didn't really rise that much, but potential's there if he is fully past his injury woes.
Absolutely. And he would have made my bust list right now because I haven't tinkered with his stats yet. So, I mean, I have been reading the reports on him and where he is right now. He couldn't make my sleeper list just yet, but I could see by the end of camp him making my sleeper list. So
He might already have risen too high by that point.
that's fair too. That is fair. But again, he might end up on my bust list again because I might be like he's in the 50s and drafted in the 30s. Like
it's all relative to value. It's
Yep.
all relative. All right. My number 4 here is switching over to quarterbacks again. And I have Tyler Shock, the Saints quarterback, year 2 breakout with Kellen Moore, adding a dynamic pass catching weapon in Jordan Tyson. And I believe 8th overall in the draft. I think sky's the limit with him. He's a prospect that I felt like I liked before anyone else liked, and before the Saints drafted him 40th overall in the last draft, and he showed out last year, and I think everyone's on board now. Right now, though, he's still quarterback 19. I think he is a top 9, top 10 quarterback.
Love to hear your quarterback list at some point, which we will in a few weeks.
Unconventional. Yep. There's two guys that are going ahead of him that I have on my bus list.
All right. Well, we can't wait till we hear the bust list next week. And I guess we're on to my number 4 here. And Alex, this one's going to surprise you a bit. This is a guy that's going undrafted. And I don't believe that that should be correct, just given the team. And he only has one running back in front of him. And that is Jaden Blue. He only has Javonte Williams in front of him. What?
You can't quit him. You can't quit the little guy.
Nope. He's not Deuce Vaughn.
You
But-
gave up on Juice?
Yep. But someone's got a handcuff there, right? And I have him as a 11th rounder, so not super high, but draftable. And he's going undrafted right now, like so low that he's not even drafted. So last round of the draft, why wouldn't you take a flyer on a guy like Jaden Blue? And if something happens to Javonte, you have the starting running back for one of the most prolific offenses in the league.
Jeff likes running backs and wide receivers. They go real fast.
Go fast. No, and I also like opportunity, and I see a path to opportunity here. So
I'm surprised they didn't take one of these running backs late in the draft this year.
Or sign a undrafted free agent, like anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a couple guys like that this year where the team didn't really do anything at running back and kind of stayed where they were. So it should be viewed as a positive endorsement for the guys behind the starter too. So I can see where you're coming from. I'm not a Jaden Blue believer. So it's nice that we have a nice mix because anyone listening to us is going to have their own confirmation bias between the two of us.
Absolutely. I mean, the only thing else is Dallas has Malik Davis. Like, are you bought that far into Malik Davis that Jaden Blue couldn't overtake him? So
No, I almost think if Javonte gets hurt, then
shopping.
they won't run the ball. They'll just pass.
Gosh, could you picture that right now? All right. So that brings me to my number 3, since we are zigzagging here, and you're going to be happy with this one here. He's a guy that's going in the very last round of drafts. I'm willing to take him several rounds earlier, and that is Katron Allen.
Wow. How do you rank that backfield for Washington?
He's going to get his opportunity. I think all 3 of them will get their opportunities right now. But I think White is just there for now. I think Bill, just a Bill. But these are 3 backs here that could be on the block. Obviously, Katron Allen wouldn't be on the block, but the other 2 could be on the block for a Josh Jacobs replacement as well. So just thinking about that, maybe they trade Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt over to the Patriots to be their starter this year. But I think they'll give Katron a shot here. I don't think that they bought into Bill.
Let me just break that down for people. They have Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, aka Bill, who they got last year that was a social media storm and fantasy darling at spots last year. And they brought in over the offseason Rachaad White from Tampa Bay, who is college teammates with their starting quarterback, Jaden Daniels. He's more of a receiving guy than he is run up the middle type running back. And they drafted Katron Allen in this draft, a guy who, in my prospect video for him, compared him to David Montgomery. He likely is the best runner on this team. However, he showed up to camp a little bit chunky. I think that'll get straightened out in camp. I think he'll burn it off
quickly.
But I would suspect that Bill Jakrowski Merritt will be the nominal starter starting the season, and then they'll probably ride the hot hand, and Katron could earn the starting job down the stretch. So I thought about him as well. He didn't make my list, but he's a name I considered too. And really, with the Washington backfield and with the Pittsburgh backfield, it's really whichever guy being drafted later, potentially, is the guy you snag, because any of them could carve out a big role in their offenses.
I can see that. All right, who is your number 3 here?
My number 3 is Kenneth Gainwell with Tampa Bay. We just had Todd Bowles, the head coach for Tampa Bay, say that Bucky Irving might not be back until as late as the fall with a shoulder injury. And Bucky has been someone I've been worried about his durability. He was a bust for me last year. He ended up being a bust. And I think he is probably going to make an appearance next week for me. I have Kenneth Gainwell on my sleeper list because he's currently going, I think, RB 38, and that's pick like 117. And I think he's going to outperform that and be a high end flex player for people out there, potentially an RB2, especially if it goes really poorly for Bucky.
Okay. I feel like you are cheating on your buddy, Sean Tucker, in that backfield. Why wouldn't it be Sean Tucker's job if Bucky missed time?
I can't force them to be smart, Jeff. I can't force teams to give the ball to the guy who, when given the opportunity, looked like one of the best running backs in the league last year, looked like a young Nick Chubb. I can't force them to hand him the rock. When they give him the rock 20 times, their team is unbeaten, but I can't make them make the smart decision. They're going to go with the versatile backs because they want to lose games. That's why.
Yes, sir. And I believe that Bucky will be back sometime in training camp. I think that's the latest Shefty report after he had surgery.
All right, we'll see. I don't think he can hold up. I don't know if he's not eating his Wheaties or not having enough protein, but he seems to get banged up pretty easily.
Hey, that does not stop you from drafting Marshawn Law.
I have not drafted Marshawn Lloyd. I did that before he got an injury, to be fair. Anyway, moving on to my number 2 here, and that is Jawan Jennings. Recently signed with Minnesota, likely to be, in my opinion, their wide receiver 2 over Jordan Addison, who's been unreliable, even though he's talented. Even with Addison maybe re-earning his role, Jawan would still be the wide receiver 3 on this team, which is better than his wide receiver 6 rank right now. 60 rank, pick 147. I don't think that he will put up stats that low this year. I think he'll at least be a wide receiver 4, which is already way better than this spot. I think he'll likely settle in as a wide receiver 3 for teams, in my opinion.
It is possible. It is possible. My issue is that it's going to be Kyler Murray that's going to have to distribute the ball to multiple receivers. We've seen what Kyler Murray does when he has to distribute the ball to multiple receivers in the past. I feel only good about Justin Jefferson on the team right now. And if Addison takes off, then
who does Kyler Murray throw the ball to? Throws the ball to guys who go in the slot, tight end position, intermediate. Jawan Jennings isn't necessarily a vertical guy. Jordan Addison's the vertical guy. So Jawan Jennings, Justin Jefferson, and Hawkinson are all going to be crossing the middle, all going to be in and out of the slot, all be intermediate routes. So that's why I like Jawan Jennings over Addison, honestly.
I don't disagree with that. Obviously, you have Hawkinson, as you said, Jefferson. I don't know the last time that Kyler Murray has supported three weapons, but fantasy wise, that's my concern there. But we will see. And it does sound like Jennings will be there for a cup of coffee because he signed a 1-year deal with them, so he wants to test the free agent market next year.
They don't have much of a run game, so I would imagine Kyler's going to be throwing the ball a lot.
Come on, they have Claiborne.
Yeah, he's going to be catching the ball out of the backfield.
All right. You ready to hop over to my number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
Brian Robinson Jr. comes in at my number 2 spot, and Bijan needs his Algier, and this is his Robin. Did you know Brian Robinson Jr. is going in the 14th round of drafts? Did you know Tyler Algier would go in the 6th and 7th round of drafts last year? I have Brian Robinson Jr. going in the 7th round this year. I have Bijan, of course, as a first round top 2 pick this year. So I do believe that they'll run the ball because that quarterback room is still not very good. So
you have who as your number 2?
Brian Robinson Jr.
I thought you said Brian Thomas.
No, Brian Robinson Jr., not senior.
Oh, he's backing up the other B. Robinson. They have, I think, a new offensive-minded coach in Stefanski. Will he do a 1-2 punch? I don't know, but it's going to be very confusing for fantasy people and football viewers to see B. Robinson scored. We're all going to be confused which one did it.
Yep.
So
I think Brian will vulture some touchdowns, and I do think that's where his value will come in actually, and I think he'll actually take some series away from Bijan, who has never been a bell cow in his time yet.
I don't know if I would have had him as the number 2 sleeper on a list, but certainly you can make a case for him to be on the list, or even
But
honorable mention too.
and I don't want to speak this into existence, but imagine Bijan Robinson going down. What does that do to his value?
Well, Brian Robinson doesn't bring in the receiving aspect, so
A little
he'd
bit,
be more of the thumper.
yeah.
I would say Atlanta would be a little bit screwed in that scenario because I don't know if they have another back that does the receiving work.
He's the Algier now, so and we know how good that Bijan did with Algier.
I think Algier is a better running back than Brian Robinson.
Possibly. My problem with Brian Robinson is that his career did not start off on the best foot.
Was that the shot one?
Yep, he picked up what I was putting down.
All right, who is your number 1 sleeper, Jeff? Make it good.
All right, so this guy is going in the 16th round of drafts, and I have him in single-digit rounds as of right now, and that is Miami Dolphins wide receiver Malik Washington.
That is bold, Jeff.
Someone's got to catch
Bold.
passes there.
Do they?
Chris Bell's
They're
not
not gonna. They're
100%.
not gonna. They're not gonna run the ball 80% of the time.
Maybe? No. That doesn't happen in NFL.
Run the old school, wishbone offense, doing a
Yep.
lot of option plays.
Wildcat. They're going to bring Ricky Williams back.
Malik Washington, not Jalen Tolbert, not any of the, I think, 2 or 3 wide receivers they drafted this draft class.
I think he's better than Douglas. I think he is healthier than Bell.
Did they bring a wide receiver over from the Packers?
They traded Waddle. That was their only move this offseason, pretty much, until they brought in Tolbert and Atwell.
I don't know.
He should have opportunity.
Redraft, he might be the most logical bet for this season. I like Bell a lot, though.
Yeah, I
for
just
Dynasty.
don't see Bell. I don't see Bell taking off this year. I think that his knee might need an extra year.
All right. Well, I also have a wide receiver at my number 1 sleeper, and it's an oldie but a goodie, and that is Courtland Sutton with the Denver Broncos.
Wow.
Being drafted as the wide receiver 38 at pick 81-ish. They brought in Jalen Waddle, who's going to take a lot of vertical coverage away from him, give Courtland Sutton better looks. He's less likely to be double covered. He's more likely to be in a better coverage situation, get open, get less pressure on him, not have to force feed him the ball, not have to put a lot of strain on him. So he should be in a better situation, healthier, and get more bang for his buck when it comes to his targets and looks.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And we'll see what Bo Nix has this year. I don't fully buy into Bo Nix, but
Man, you're free to be wrong, Jeff.
I am. I mean, is he going to be able to run this year? He's had 2 ankle surgeries this offseason. Is he going to be able to run this year? And without the running threat, I don't think he's nearly as good of a quarterback.
Well, we will see, but I honorable mentions for me, Jeff. I have CJ Stroud, who's going below Cam Ward in drafts at quarterback 24. Even if you don't like CJ Stroud, and even if you see how he crumbled at the end of the year last year and spot starts last year, the cornerback 24 is crazy when they further improve their offensive line in second year in this offensive system. He's going to outperform that. I also have Pat Fryermuth, who's going as tight end 27 pick 187. He is now the main tight end for Pittsburgh, going to do the Ferguson role in a Mike McCarthy offense. So he could be much better than what everyone hoped he would be a couple years ago. And also Lad McConkey, I think, could outperform his wide receiver 21 spot.
You love yourself some Lad, but you have 3 quarterbacks on a sleeper list, and are you going to be reaching for quarterbacks this year, or like what's happening here?
Well, the beauty about the quarterbacks that I like is in redrafts, they're still going to be in rounds 10, 11, 12.
You'll be able to get
And
them
I'm
on the
going to get,
wire.
I'll be able to get one of them easily, maybe even 2 of them.
Yes. I could definitely see that. And my honorable mentions will start with the old guy first, because you know I gotta have an old guy. Is Travis Kelce. He is going 102, and I have him 65th right now. So that's a full 4 rounds ahead. Can't quit some Travis Kelce. And my other honorable mention is Woody Marks. I think he's being forgotten with David Montgomery there.
I like Woody Marks. The question is, will Nick Caley's offense utilize his best aspects, which are catching the ball from the backfield?
I mean, if you want to help out a CJ Stroud, what better way to give him easy completions?
But they didn't do it last year, which drove everyone in Houston nuts.
I hear you. Right.
Well, I think that does it for this episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you all for downloading and listening to this episode. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please leave us a comment and share the show. Every little bit helps.
You can find us on all podcasting apps by searching N2E Fantasy, and with our handle at N2E Fantasy on all social media platforms. Please join our community and give us a follow. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and remember, it's truly never too early for fantasy football. Thank you again.
Bye, everybody.